Vivek Ramaswamy absolutely shreds Bill Maher, destroys him after he makes quite a silly claim about former President Donald Trump. Guys, this is going to be a fun one. I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's a good time. I mean, who doesn't love seeing Bill Maher correspond with a conservative? You know, I will say, I want to say something nice about Bill Maher today, all right? Because I bash him a lot. I do enjoy seeing him engage with the right-wingers. You know, sometimes it can get a little infuriating. I might want to smack my head on the wall just a little bit. But it's a lot of fun, and you know what? I respect that he's willing to engage. Even if he gets kind of silly about it sometimes, he'll still, for the most part, have a respectful conversation. Even if he gets a little lippy about it, he can still get along and be friends with people after. And hey, there's something to be said for that. So I do appreciate that. And then Vivek Ramaswamy, well, he's, as you guys know, I'm sure, wicked smart, and it's very interesting to see what he has to say. It was a fun time watching him on the campaign trail, in my view, and it's always a good treat when he's on these different podcasts talking about some of these political issues. With all that being said, guys, we're gonna get right into the video. But first, guys, help me out and do me a favor, okay? I need you to like this video, share it around, and if you're new, subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and we appreciate it. As always, I'm your host, Arian. Let's get into it.
Bill, to really understand what's going on in the country, we have, first of all, right now, on one hand, the son of a U.S. president collecting multi-million-dollar bribes from foreign countries that president is now arguably making good on in different ways.
Oh, gosh.
And on the other hand, we have
yes, I mean, that's true.
A former president of the United States that currently, by the way, it would be a lot easier for me if Trump were eliminated, by the way. And some of the recent polls this week, I'm in second. Polling averages, I'm in third. It would be a lot easier for me if Trump were out of the way. I don't want to win this election by seeing a political opponent eliminated by the federal police state. I think that is a disastrous precedent to set in this country.
Unless he committed crimes that police
Bill,
should be apprehending him for.
So let's get, if you want to get into the details on this, let's get into the details. Let's talk about the Espionage Act, which he's being charged under. That is the most un-American law in our history.
Not in this.
It's been used to lock up anti-war activists.
Okay,
hundreds
I'm not sure that is what he's being tried under.
For the second indictment, it is the Espionage Act that he's charged under for the documents case. Taking the documents.
The documents. Okay, you switched the cards there.
We have so many indictments. There's 4 of them at the exact same time. What's going on? It's not about the crime.
If it was up to me,
it's about eliminating the man.
I wish they hadn't brought the Stormy Daniels one. I wish they hadn't even brought the. I mean, he's guilty of all these things, of course. I wouldn't have brought the documents one.
He's not guilty of anything in the Stormy Daniels ones. You want to know why?
Really? This criminally bad economy we're living under, and Donald Trump is the criminal? No. I think it's Joe Biden, all right? This level of inflation, guys, it's out of control, and someone needs to go to jail for it, all right? I'm just saying. I'm not going to say who that should be. Anyways, guys, that is why I have decided to partner with Goldco, okay? And I recommend you do the exact same thing. Why? It's real simple, guys. As the value of the dollar has historically declined, the value of gold has gone up. That is why I have decided to invest in precious metals, and I think you should too. Guys, we got some great offers here, okay? If you go to rtmgold.com, you can type in the web browser or click the link in the description down below. You can, I am not kidding, get a free gold kit, all right? Yes, you heard that right. You can get a free gold kit if you go to that. And furthermore, you can roll over your IRA or 401k penalty and tax-free. Yes, you heard that right, penalty and tax-free. So check it out, guys. rtmgold.com.
You're a smart guy. Let me just explain this.
I don't care about that
Bill,
one. I never cared about that.
I know you don't care about that one, but it relates to the ones that followed because it's evidence that there's something else going on here. So you will agree with me on this one, okay? You say he's guilty of it. Well, let me just test you on this for a second, see how you feel. They said that the crime there was that he should have used campaign funds to pay hush money to the porn star. You know what? If he had used campaign funds to pay hush money, that actually would have been more of a crime than not doing it, right?
I did a whole thing on this.
Okay, so I missed that. I'm sorry.
I'm pre with
You're pre with me on it, so I don't need to preach to the choir on it.
Right, no, exactly.
But the point is, if there's...
He kind of contradicted himself because Maher was just saying, well, I know Trump is guilty of all of them, so whatever. And then, no. Anyways, the point is he's talking about both sides of his mouth. But it's really not a surprise that Bill Maher is sitting here making a judgment about Donald Trump being guilty before it's even started. Like many Democrats and people on the left, Bill Maher was pushing the infamous Russia, Russia, Russia hoax constantly. If you look at clips back on his show, it is bad. There's one where Maher literally calls Donald Trump a Russian hoe and starts giggling like a little girl after that, okay? Point is, the dude is unhinged, and even when he presents himself as being reasonable and thinking about this stuff, he really doesn't. The media largely guides how he thinks and feels, and it's ever so apparent.
There's 4 of these separate things coming right at the same time. Smack dab in the middle of an election.
Because it happened. It's like they made it up.
But Bill, I just told you they made this one up. They literally made this one up.
They certainly did not make up, excuse me, they certainly did not make up the idea that he tried every single possible way to steal that election. He tried it.
I was talking about the first one, though. They made that was literally made up indictment.
Well, I'm talking about the one that's important, and you know what's important. He tried it through pressuring Mike Pence, who was doing something in a very ceremonial role to pretend that he could change the vote. The fake electors. He pressured the secretaries of state and the legislatures. They talked about bringing out the military. They talked about seizing voting machines. This country has done one thing that was more amazing than any other. They've done many amazing things, but to me, the jewel in our crown, the peaceful transference of power. So many countries cannot get this right.
Yes.
We were one of the few who could get it right. And one guy, your boyfriend Donald Trump,
come on,
broke this and
come on, don't give me the boyfriend
exactly
stuff. Come on. I'm running against him in this race.
They talk about this peaceful transfer of power. What was BLM doing in 2020, right around the time when the election was?
Okay.
I think you're running to be his vice president.
Well, I'm glad you smoked that view out. I've already said, and I'll say it again, I'm not going to work for any administration.
So you would say no to it?
Yeah, I would say no.
You would say no to the vice presidency if Donald Trump offered it to you?
I don't do well in a number 2 role. I just don't.
To start, you're 38.
I don't do well I haven't been in a number 2 role in a long time. I think there's a lot of ways to change this country.
Wow.
And each person has to look in the mirror and ask themselves, how do you have the maximal impact you can? So I do it through the private sector. I've written 3 books in the last 2 years. I've started businesses. That's what I would
only go right to the top or...
Well, to me, it's not a hierarchy. It's not about a top.
Well, it is.
It's about where am I going to have the most impact?
You will literally not be the second most powerful person in the world.
If power were my currency and probability adjusting my power calculus, yeah, of course you would take it. But if the question is actually how am I using my God-given talents to have a maximal positive impact on a country that has given me so much, being in that vice president role wouldn't be it.
And now, a bit more of Vivek and Bill Maher.
And that you are a person of color is an advantage. I think it is the right moment. I think it's happening in the right party, a party that is very sort of, they know that in the past, in the recent past, including sometimes the present, they are racist, and they have been. I mean, Reagan started his campaign in Philadelphia, Mississippi, which was a undeniable signal that he was okay with race.
Which party founded the KKK again? You can look that up. And no, the parties did not switch platforms, despite what ahistorical leftists love to claim and bash you on the head. It is not true, and don't let them do it. And by the way, if you want some evidence for why it's not true, it's real simple. The Civil Rights Act passed in 1964. The South was not majority Republican until the 1990s. Okay? So, and that begs the question, did it take the Klan members 30 years to figure out what was going on? That's simple.
Here's my situation.
But they're better than they were, and the fact that they like you, and I think they're going to like you a lot more. I mean, they're just getting to know you.
The people didn't know me like 6 months ago.
Right.
So here's the thing.
I think they're better than they used to be, but there's still a lot of racists.
I think that
in that party.
I think there's a lot of. I mean, what do you call racism when you say you want? I'll give you a quote. The remedy to past discrimination is present discrimination. The remedy to present discrimination is future discrimination. That's racism too.
That's Kendi.
It's Kendi. You know it. You're all over it. So
yes. Not down with that.
Look, if you're like a psychologist and you got a patient that comes in with anxiety, you don't shout them down by saying, don't be anxious, don't be anxious, don't be anxious.
Right.
They're going to have a bout of anxiety. I think where we are in this country with respect to racism, I'll use an analogy based on you lighting that and watching that, taper out, is it's like the last burning embers of racism. That's where we are, actually.
Embers of
I'm serious. I'm just a visual person.
All right, I'll vote for you.
It's the last.
You got me with that one.
It really is. And so what I don't want to do is, right as that's burning out, I don't want to come in and throw kerosene on it by saying, "Don't be racist." That's what we'd be doing. So we're almost at the promised land. But
we may not be that close, but we are way.
We're a hair's trigger away from a national revival. We can be. It's not going to happen automatically.
You like my slogan? Let's live in the year we're living in.
Right?
On that. Isn't that great?
I'm with you on that.
Let's live in the year. That's all I ask.
You know what else I'm going to do in this election?
All right, guys, we're going to cut it off there. Always nice to see a nice, wholesome bro moment. Hopefully Vivek didn't get too much of that ash on his hands. I'm kidding. With all that being said, guys, we really hope you enjoyed the video. As always, guys, be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked about the video, what kind of content you want to see in the future, and we'll see you guys again soon. Thanks so much, and God bless.